Okay, to begin tonight's meeting, if we could all stand to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our first item on the agenda tonight is to approve minutes from, believe it or not, the April meeting. That was our last time we met. And Peg and Bruce and myself were present for that meeting, so do we have any corrections, additions, modifications? Let's see. I have one, Michelle, it's kind of minor, but the last line on the first page talks about Burrell Sandstone. It was a long time ago, but I'm almost sure that's Boral. It's B-O-R-A-L. Probably is a brand. But otherwise, I think it's all fine. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
As corrected. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And those are approved. Okay, tonight's agenda is a review of Forbes Island PDD. Do we have you folks introduce yourselves?
Good evening, James Trasher, CHA, with me is Ben Harrell from my office as well. We are here in regards to Forbes Island and the potential next buildings that we're looking to construct out there. As part of the process, we need to come to your board for a review and recommendation. So previously when we were with the village board, project was approved with 2 buildings there and then some apartment homes that would meander along the way. Due to wetlands and floodplain issues where the maps have been revised, we proposed a change to the development. The village board was accepting of that, referred it off to the planning board for review and comment as part of the PDD process. Part of that is coming to you as well. So we're here tonight just in regards to trying to move this, because when I was with the village board, they asked the question, how soon would the Albericis look to start construction out there? And the statement was, as soon as the approvals were completed. They've been working at Timber Banks on stuff over there that's been wrapped up. And before they start stuff at other places, Toco Villaggio, which is next to Micron, and some of the other properties that they own, they committed to completing the PDD that they had started here in the village. So I'll just give you an overview of the plan. Here's the existing 26-unit apartment building. This right here would be a total of 24 units. If you have looked at what the Albericis have built in other places, they have a typical T-unit building where if this was 2 wings, they would have a 3rd wing that would come out. And this similar project is, Willow Stream. We can use all their projects and that they've done. That has been their earmark, what people have used forever, people have copied off of. But here it's pulling it off center core. This would be 12 units, 3 floors in each of these locations. And then these would become apartment home, townhome style units in these 2 buildings. Previously, this was combined to 1 6-unit building, but based on comments we received from the planning board of could it be broken up for some additional sight lines, we broke these into a 4-unit and a 2-unit building with trash located in that area. So this is sort of the layout. The river walking trail would be constructed up through here. That was one of the things with the village board, sidewalks along the road, landscaping. So when it gets to the buildings, here is the typical look of the apartment home, townhome unit in black and white. You can see the shakes and the stone, siding, garage doors, keeping with the dormer look. And I'm not an architect, I'm a civil engineer. Previously, Jim Fahey had done stuff there, and I know everyone else here. I don't know, Peg, if you're an architect by trade, but I know the other folks are all architects by trade, so I don't want to misspeak, so if I do, I apologize. So
I'm
that,
not an architect.
you aren't? Oh, I thought you were, so I apologize. So, so there's the layout of, or the front elevation of the townhome. Request was added for windows on the end, so there would be a window on. So this is the 4-unit building, the 2-unit building would be chopped off, and you would have a window at the ends of both the buildings. Then you get into the larger building, which is very similar, and we use this and we provided photos as well. This building, Rod Vanderwater has taken and updated, and so this is the elevation that's being used at tree line, where you, once again, stones shake in certain areas, then typical clapboard siding, architectural shingles. Previously, we had showed dormers on the other building. People wanted dormers, some people didn't want dormers, so we showed it because we were told dormers were a desire, so dormers could be added back on. So that is the relative look there. There's nothing better than a picture's worth 1,000 words. So these are under construction, so these buildings, so that if this was what you're looking at, this would be similar to Phobes in terms of what's being built, other than the stonework and the colors would change to match more similar in shades to what's going out there. The townhome units, these are in Timber Banks on your entrance road, Timber Banks Parkway, between Timber Banks and Summergate. They are there. So that is what we're looking to do. Comments of what your board would like to see, additions, modifications, changes. We're here, any additional information you need. But all we're trying to do is bring this modification to a completion with your board back to the planning board, then hopefully back to the village board. And if the weather stays and they can break ground and start construction this late fall, winter, that would be the hopes and the plans. Ben, any other further information? Ben's been at the recent planning board meeting, so if there is other stuff that people are looking for or additional information we need to provide, we're willing to do.
And Jim, could you clarify where you are with the dormers? Is this drawing right here correct? Architectural drawing?
As correct as you can get from Lance at, Rod Vanderwater's office as of,
It illustrates the cupolas and a couple of dormers and...
Yeah.
So that's current.
Yeah, this is current, this is what is proposed. If there's something that you say just looks out of, sorts for the village, it's something we can remove. If there's something that you'd like to see changed, we can do that as well. We're here for your input.
The cupolas are not on the ones at tree line, apparently.
Right.
Correct.
That's
Exactly.
why I want to clarify that.
Correct, 100%. That was a, correct me if I'm wrong, between Ben and Carrie at the planning board, you wanted to see them potentially back on?
I don't recall that.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then if you don't like them, we would scrap them. That was a comment that we believe came up at the last planning board meeting, so that's why we had their office add to the plan.
They didn't do anything for me.
They don't do anything for me because the existing buildings out there, I'll just say when we did it, they were on a plan that was done by Jim Fahey when we were doing those buildings. They were on, then they were off, and then they were off when they got approved. But we believe that they were requested, so we were...
I'm not even sure about the dormers,
Okay.
personally.
Okay. I'm just going based on...
I think if I can recap, so a lot of the planning board commentary was they were looking for more interplay of the facade. The townhome units with no windows on anywhere on the sides was a big issue. There were concerns about the trash location, but I think that was resolved, but I would like to know what the trash enclosure is going to look like. Will it match the other one?
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
because it doesn't show that in the,
Yeah, and we can reference that, and we can provide the detail back to the planning board with the trash enclosure and all that information. So they match the side of the building, they're enclosed on 3 sides, so they're covered, so you're not getting
Yeah.
snow or rain into those areas.
I think one of the other hot spots was the garage forward facade on the townhomes. There weren't many issues with the apartment buildings, but the garages were a big problem
Okay.
visually. I see you've added some circles, louvers or something in the,
Yep. So I know one of the comments, so we tried to add rock stone up and around the garage doors, because I believe, so correct
yes,
me.
that was mentioned, that's
Yeah,
correct.
so that was brought up and around, and I used, based on I'll go to the site plan scenario here. So, with the location of this, the garage doors, entrance points, if, I know one of the things was windows into the garage doors, we can add those as well. It was one of the things initially
Yeah, one of the members.
brought up, and so I'll just use it, and there was a conversation, we said, if we can do everything else but the windows and the garage doors and those type of things, just because I'll use the additional cost. You try to do a balancing act of, dollars and cents, so we try to add everything else, a good facade along the river, and everyone wanting garages, you sort of have to have garage doors. I think, driving, if you haven't done it, good location is everything. That's along, Timberbanks Parkway. This side is what you would see along Timberbanks Parkway. The other side, Summer Gates Lane, would look very similar, other than the driveway lengths here are slightly longer than in Timberbanks.
So the street side elevation, the garage side elevation, is pretty contrary to a village view, and pretty contrary to the ARB guidelines. The guidelines are typically looking for a 50% glazed facade, and that's more like 10. I can see the circumstances here might say 50% is too much, but I feel like 10 is not enough.
Okay.
I think it presents, and anybody who drives through Timberbanks will probably agree, it presents a very cold, very unfriendly street. And it's even worse when you put it in the village situation. I have a really hard time with the garage elevations. I think the other side, the river side, looks great.
Yeah, it does.
I'm very happy with that, but I find the garage side is just really anti-village.
Okay.
It's very negative.
And I think the garage door is the biggest
Yes.
concern there.
If they were split into 2 doors and maybe stepped one back a little bit, the other forward a little bit, I might feel a little different. It's still pretty short of glazing, but at least it breaks down that big flat plane, which in the sample photo shows up pretty well. What do we see here? We see the doors. That's what jumps right out at us, is the doors.
So the windows in that architectural drawing are different than the ones in the photos too?
Yes, they are. And they're,
So which one is it?
It's what's in your drawings. So you're talking, in terms of.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
this is very different.
Correct.
yeah. What you've done, I see, is you combine so that you're getting two double units. That helps to cut down on the number of the small windows.
Correct. So what we propose and what we show is, this is the plan that would be coming in as part of the, once we get through the process, the building permit package that goes to Tim Gainey and through the process. So, between the window elements, the doors, etc. So, from a garage door standpoint, you're saying if it was 2 doors with, a foot recess, because, you know, there's not gonna be much, you know, it's just to provide a jog in the facade
Yeah,
scenario.
right in the corner there, yeah.
Okay.
And I do like the idea of the windows in the doors.
Yeah, I do
Garage
too.
doors.
Okay.
I think that gives it, again, a more.
It's not perfect, but it helps.
Right, it helps.
Okay. I know the character and things you're trying to do, and I'll use in the timber banks world, you know, and people can say it's not very warm and inviting, but those units are fully occupied. The ones that are for sale have sold, you know, for an extremely high number, and the same would be similar here. So, you know, sometimes you got to work with the elements that you're given. So I'm just asking, you know, if we put windows, because I'll use from a plan standpoint, if we put windows through here and going and not having, you know, 2 doors that we're dealing with, would that be something that would be amenable to the board?
I don't think just adding windows to the garage doors without doing something to break the scale down will do much for me.
Scale. I mean, you can't get around having garage doors in the front because of the site, but
I really think we need to break down this continuous plane of white doors.
it gives it another roof line too. It breaks that gable roof on the garage.
So I'm going to ask him, I'll ask him.
The other thing it would help for me is to not have the doors white.
No, in our
It's a
plan.
very minor point.
So the doors were gonna be, and I should have noted that, and we should have noted that in the color. So the color of the doors would be the color of the clapboard siding. So like, you know, if it was a tan, it would be a tan door.
I think actually in the planning board, we discussed them even being like dark brown.
Yeah, but, you know, I figure sometimes, you know, if you keep it with the rest of the facade, but if you want it to be a darker
I'm just
color
saying
or
that
an
they
accent.
mentioned the same thing,
Yeah.
the board did.
Yeah, so in this, it doesn't show, but we, you know, and if we showed colors, the colors of, you know, clapboard and this would be the same, and, you know, the
Do you
shape
bring
would be.
materials with you or no?
No, we didn't bring, but if you want materials, we can bring.
Certainly for final approval.
Color is a big part of our board, so we
Okay.
gotta have that nailed down.
Okay.
I mean, from a point of view of a general opinion, saying you're going to be in the same palette as the existing buildings is probably enough of a, you know, for a general opinion of what we think, but not for a final approval.
Okay. So yeah, so it would be an earth tone very similar to those, and we can bring you the color, you know, and we can note it on the plans.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
So you want to see the shape, the clapboard, the stone. You need to see roofing material, or if it's a black architectural shingle. Are you good with just that being known, or do you want me to bring a shingle? You want me to bring window samples, like going to different ones, you know, I can go to the City of Syracuse Landmark Preservation Board and I can bring the entire house with me and they'll change it 15 times over.
Typically, I think we've been comfortable with a window catalog cut
Okay.
with a color sample.
Okay. Do you mind if I'll use white vinyl window, like, because people have different opinions on window colors, you know, like, you know, here they're typically white windows, and then we can provide, you know, it's a.
It needs to work with the overall composition.
Okay.
You know, as I'm looking at this and glancing at the floor plan I saw, I don't know that I see a way around it, but it kind of bothers me that the entrances are so pinched between the garages.
On the single units at the ends.
Yeah.
These have been pretty successful units, you know. I don't want to name it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be quiet, you know, I don't want to pull it. Some guy designed these a long time ago and helped the Alberiches make a lot of money.
I don't know that I see a way of.
You gotta refuse, but we're not using him anymore, he's retired, but he was really good at one point. So, sorry.
It looks pinched, that's all, and I know based on the plan, there may not be around that. That's just a reaction I had sitting here looking at, that it seems pinched.
Yeah, and I'll just use this from a standpoint, if you want, and I use this, you know, to come into a unit to see how it feels, you know, not that you're, you know, into the floor plan, but it does say a lot when you walk in from one side and you see the openness and, you know, initially I'll just use the site plan.
I think the double, two garage doors with the step would help that feeling.
Okay.
So which side would you step that?
You want the closer one next to the entrance, so you're funneling to the entrance.
Right.
So further out away, closer, and then,
Yeah.
I'll just use this for one scenario. So originally, if this road came, this driveway came down, circled around,
Yeah.
and this was up next to the road, you know, we just tried to keep, you know, a linear line and actually bring people, these units closer to the river to be more inviting versus, you know, if it's something, we prefer, the Albericis prefer this, and I think the village board did, is just bring the river into play. These could sit back in between here and the road. This side would fit here, the garage doors would face the river. But like then, people going up and down the river see garage doors. Not that I know if you care, but it did come in at this point, curve down like this and back up. And these units would be sitting between road and road. So it almost would be like timber banks where you're sitting between a private drive and a main thoroughfare. This side would be facing the main road, so when you're driving down the road, you're seeing, but then the people are living staring at a road versus staring at a river. So that's why we changed.
Site plan's not really our purview, but.
No, but I'm just using that from our.
I don't object to, I understand the logic of the changes you're making, and I don't inherently object to the site plan at all.
So from this point, stepping the door, this door out, this door in, this
Yep.
one coming in, you know.
Yep.
Here, this is probably a solid door. We could probably look at a couple light, you know.
That'd be good.
Yeah, that
Yep.
would help.
Just on the top, you know, so then you have the side light going down, then the window here, maybe this can be slightly larger, so
That would
it
be great.
Yep.
something. And then, you know, maybe even these
It
windows.
doesn't look inviting to the street. It doesn't invite neighbors.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, I often look at the perception at night, and when you have so little glazing, it makes the street very dark and very unappealing.
Okay.
You feel like you're walking down an alley, and that's something that we're trying not to do.
Okay.
So I think anything we can do to get eyes on the street, so to speak, windows, glazing, and in turn then lights inside an apartment shining out toward the street. Those all make it more inviting.
Okay.
So let's talk about the side, where we have no windows.
We have a window.
No.
Yeah. So here, I'm gonna, you know, recuse yourself, because you like did the initial floor plan of all these things. Problem is you have a bedroom and a living room where everyone now puts these things called TVs on walls.
Yeah.
So when you start putting windows there,
We are somewhat at a disadvantage not having floor plans.
So-
that would be,
so you didn't get floor plans in the package? Okay.
No.
Okay. So, here's the floor plan, so like entrance, garage window would be over here, living area, you know, so when you start doing this, you got windows here, you had windows here, you take away from that. So,
it seems to me that you can manage at least one window on that long wall in the living room and still have room to furnish it in a variety of ways, and maybe two into the garage.
so one and some here, and then a second one into the garage.
Yeah. See what the other end of the group thinks.
So the garage has a window where? There's one right there.
They didn't update the floor plan, so I
Yeah,
apologize.
should be over here.
Yeah, there'd be one on each end, so there'd be
Okay.
one here and one
Yeah,
there.
so definitely two in the garage.
So one, like evenly spaced, and then, so here, the ideal place is to put one either on like an upper corner here or a back corner here, so you have more usable wall, because if you put one in the middle, I was
Yeah.
using if you have a
Yep.
65-inch TV.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'd put two on the ends also. gives you more flexibility with the furniture arrangement. That I do.
What? Interior? Okay, so you're saying you want to see one?
Yep.
Okay.
Leave the sofa in the middle between them.
Or the TV, depending on the...
We're adding all these windows. Can we keep the garage doors in a linear plane with some windows on it?
No.
No,
I will say that I think we're gonna have to go back to a 6-unit, because to add that 2 garage doors, you're gonna add 2 or 3 feet each unit. So you're not gonna have room for the 2 separate buildings. So I think we'll go back to a 6-unit. Rather than a 2 and a 4.
I don't think that bothers me too much. I think the gains we're making with the other changes outweigh that disadvantage.
So a 6
And
unit?
I do understand it's getting longer. You don't have much choice.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so you got the notes back there, my friend?
I don't know what you were drawing with your finger, but.
Yeah, I'm not drawing anything with my finger. Just don't write like cupolas and dormers like you did after a planning board meeting that we added.
I'm sure I could check the minutes, but I don't recall hearing that.
Yeah, where did we end up in our discussion on the cupolas and
Oh,
dormers?
I just spoke there.
We like the dormers, right? Or we don't?
I don't.
No, like the dormers, and I know we don't like the cupolas. I heard that part. Okay.
But I'm only one person.
Well,
Well, if it doesn't serve a purpose other than, and it doesn't.
you know, the problem is they're too small for the size of the roof. I think that's what's maybe bothering us all. They're
Kinda
little
just
for the size of
stuck on
the roof, and they don't really want to ask you to make giant ones.
Right.
Because that'll look weird too.
Yeah.
So X, 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 X.
Yep.
And then that, with those, the doors and the windows, you know, the glazing, you know, balances out. Because these are, I'll just use from a roofing and a maintenance and a construction
Yeah.
standpoint, they're an annoyance, and then you gotta deal,
They are that.
They leak.
yeah.
They leak, yeah, that's good too.
And then we'll get you, you know, the stone, all the siding materials you
Sample of the
need.
stone and the color of, no, with the garage consensus is it's gonna be two garage.
That's what,
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you're going
Yeah.
to give a sample of the color.
correct.
Okay.
We'll bring you samples of all the building materials. And I'll just use this, you know, on well, it's a 6-unit building, it'd be one color, so we'll have one color for that building and then another color for this building, so it breaks up and it feels more like it's, you know, a community versus one color.
Yeah, some commonality between them, but different. I think that's fine.
Do you need to see railing material? You need to see, you know,
Is it white PVC?
no, it's black.
Black what?
I don't know if it's right. I would have to figure out what they have on their other buildings.
I think on something like that, if you can give us a list of something, you know, if it's typical, white
Yeah, just
PVC,
a
black
cut sheet or
iron, you know,
something.
we'll be able to comprehend what that is.
We'll have to keynote everything, and we'll work, you know,
Yeah.
with the architect to do that. And I love them, but you know, sometimes we have to do it. We gotta handhold them sometimes.
The drawing notes say that it's pressure treated wood system with an alternate as PVC system.
No, it's definitely PVC. So I can on the flooring, I can tell you it's all AZEC, you know, or Trex on the floor. These are becoming the most maintenance friendly buildings because they don't want to have to come back and do stuff. So we'll bring all that stuff and we'll have it. So it won't be that or that. It will be, you know, documented exactly what it is.
And Jim, the existing buildings are vinyl siding?
I don't know.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
Tell from,
I guess we want to be consistent.
these, yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Those ones, I would have to assume, I can find out from Joe tomorrow morning with what.
I believe they are.
Yeah.
It looks it from the photo, but it would be good to confirm it.
Our guidelines discourage vinyl siding, but if these are vinyl siding, I just think we can use it.
Yeah. And I think that, again, that's a place where this is enough different than the typical village center
Yeah, it's not
site
village
that it's
center, yeah.
appropriate to look at.
It's not right on the
Right.
2-story portion of the
Yeah.
village.
And we'll have the cut door, so I'll have the cut sheets of the doors, the windows, samples of all the siding materials, sample of the roof.
Cut sheet of any decorative lighting.
Okay.
Yeah, exterior lighting, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the things we've talked about, and the things they haven't done in the past is, uplighting or downlighting. Do you guys, are you in, because there's places, I'll go in the city of Syracuse now, and the mayor is big into being able to light the city. If SU's in the national championship, he wants everything orange and blue, shooting down or shooting up, So we deal with that, but I think some of these things in certain spots, it helps with the look and the character of a building at night to have stuff versus any thoughts. It hasn't been shown, it's one of the things we've talked to the architects about just because it adds something to, I believe, a facade when you look at it. But we don't want to screw up the apple cart by, opening something like that. We can leave it as is,
Is there site lighting down there? Is there any street lighting?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's street
Yeah,
lighting.
I have a thought
I
for
don't know,
that.
I'd be too
Yeah.
concerned about it.
And we have to be careful about it shining in people's windows.
I know, that's the tough thing in some of these areas, and that's where, it would be where the building comes in and out. Like, at one point we
So
talked,
similar to what's there.
Yeah, it is. It's the same as what's there.
Okay.
so,
I would say I generally like facade illumination, but I would be very limited in the amount I used here.
100%, I agree. It's really just to accent some areas and to,
Yeah,
Entryways,
maybe
exit
either
the
side of the
entryways.
entryway, something like that, and I would limit it to that.
okay.
Because whether I like it or not, other people have different opinions, and I think I'm in the minority.
Yeah.
And I don't want to guide you the wrong direction.
No, and here, it may not, because, this is a, current building, and we have other stuff we're doing in other locations where we're saying, hey, you should really think about this, namely some of his other projects, so it might be something to just keep this as is, and, if they want to put something in the ground and go up with some lighting, it may work better in some of the landscape areas
Okay.
with uplighting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because then you can shut it off
I
a lot
vote for the
easier.
landscaping.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, sconces either side of the entry, maybe a hanging fixture inside the entry, the vestibule
Okay.
overhang would be nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's in the apartments you're thinking right there.
Yeah, anything we can do to get a little sparkle toward the street will
Yeah.
improve the village atmosphere.
You do that.
Yeah, it doesn't really show like on the riverside, it doesn't really show any like lights underneath the balcony over the door, over the front door. Here,
Okay.
so it's dark under there.
Right, okay. I know, well, they have lights that sit right off the, so like if you drove down Timberbanks Parkway, they have the lights in there, but you can't,
Well, they probably just don't show in the rendering.
Correct, yeah.
But
we can do that.
if you have more information on that, it shows on the ones with the balconies, but I don't see it on the,
Yeah.
oh, there's one.
They're hiding there?
There's one coach light on one side, but not on the other one that matches it.
Okay. We can have it noted where they are, and where they would be.
Would you say you can find your lock with your key?
Okay.
What's this?
That is a patio unit, so that's not even the right unit. So
What is this?
that's the Kaylee Ann patio home of years ago, right there. So Ben gave you a picture of something, so this should be, don't look, this is a patio unit, this is a Kaylee Ann double unit that's 1,450 square feet. This is the end unit, so this is the building that you're looking at. Boom, so this right here, this is where you'll have
I
a
just
window.
didn't know what that
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, so this is a totally different unit. This is their patio home unit. So
Okay.
here you would have like a window here, a window here, here's your garage, and, you know, windows.
Window
is-
here, window here, window here, window here.
Yeah, okay.
Got it.
They own Palo Windows and Doors.
How about?
No, the Kings do. King and Johnson, Windows and Doors, you know. I won't put you into that one.
So what kind of action do we need to take? Do we need to take any action tonight, or is it?
I would say make the revisions we've discussed.
Right.
Come back with colors, color
Yeah.
palettes.
Yeah,
Agreed.
It's kind of where I thought we were too. Yep.
okay,
So,
no problem. So when do you guys meet? Is it always at first, or?
this month.
Yeah.
This
Or you
month.
want to like have like, you want to have a special meeting in like 2 weeks where I can give you some information, you come in and then
We could
we can get
entertain,
this
I don't
rocking.
want our board to hold you up,
Okay,
but if you're waiting for the other boards,
We still have to amend the PDD, right?
yeah. So, but in order to do that, so you know, it goes from the planning board, you refer it back, I don't know where it all falls in the actual steps, but, you know, we will get stuff together and have it to you by the end of this week, we'll have all the stuff and updated elevations and plans, you know, back, so you guys can schedule, and if there was an opportunity, so we can hit. I just know that the mayor is very anxious about seeing his path created, getting construction done, closing out the PDD, having that done other than the 6 single-family residential lots, and then hopefully, you know, those will move systematically along the way.
is everybody amenable to a meeting in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can do that.
Michelle, I guess you gotta make sure the room's available for us.
I'll go through.
I guess we can do that, Jim.
Okay, that'd be great, I appreciate it, so we'll get you stuff.
So that'd be the 18th.
18th. Yeah, I can do it.
Okay. Perfect, we appreciate it.
I just gotta confirm, because the ZBA could potentially have a meeting on that date.
Well, that's what I was just looking at, the village zoning board's on the 18th.
Yes. I mean, they could potentially.
Okay.
So you'll know later this week whether they have anything on their agenda.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Michelle.
Yes, thank you for your time tonight. And we'll get stuff in, and if there's stuff, when we get it in, you say, hey, you know, this tan, we'd really like to see a little bit darker or something, you know, because we'll try to give you all the colors and like a little color palette going here, but then we'll have the samples that come in later.
We're usually able to, once you get all that information, if there's something we don't like, we're able to do a conditional approval
Yes, yes.
so that you're not held up.
Okay.
I think the garage doors are gonna be important, the color.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, for example, in this picture, I would think you'd want the darker color from the peak in the garage door.
Okay.
Not the surrounding color.
Okay.
You know, just.
If you like the dark,
I agree with you.
If you agree with that, then that's what we will look at, and we can do that. If that's
Yeah.
something that you find, hey, whatever the color is here, you would like to see in here, then that makes it easier on us of saying, hey, I'm using that this is some type of tan, and then this is some lighter color, and you go, no, and then we gotta make some modifications. I'd rather just come in and do
Yeah,
it.
the planning board did not care for the white doors either, as
We're gonna make this a white entire building.
Well, as long as we had some black accents.
Yeah. Well, you want black stone, people love black stone now, it's like, you know, that's the new timber banks color on houses, white with black, and you're sort of like, holy cow, that's.
Yeah, nice cold gray stone and white siding and
Yeah.
black windows and doors. Yeah.
Exactly,
Modern
We
farmhouse.
know what.
yeah, no.
Well, the garage door offers an opportunity too to introduce a third color. which you
Yeah.
can't have on the entrance door of the apartments. Townhouse.
True. And I think
We probably need to
More
see
of a chocolate?
options for the door
the
colors
dark,
too.
the dark brown, is that
House
something?
door.
Yeah.
Like,
Is that something the planning board liked? Was
Sorry?
The planning board, I heard something about dark brown. Was that a planning board
Yeah,
suggestion?
they didn't care for the white
Yeah.
at all. And it was suggested like dark brown, like bronze, brown.
Or
Kinda
the
like
same
the
brown
entrance
in
door.
there?
No, I'm just on the door, like dark brown
Oh, okay, but I'm talking
for the
about
doors, for the doors.
the doors, not the,
I feel like that might be as overpowering as the white is. And more medium brown
I
is the,
don't disagree,
I
just
think-
telling you what the board said.
No,
I would
that's what I was
think
asking.
we
What-
want to
what
be
was the board
something
thinking?
mid-tone, Or-
so something
Yeah.
similar to this, bring it down here,
probably, but not white.
yeah.
not white.
Yeah, that's
So the same color, and this is the exact colors that you're choosing?
That'll be very similar, so I'm gonna say, Mike, but if this color goes to there, that's what I just said, we would be, I'd rather do that now than come in and show like this color here, then people go like, man, that's a lot of this color
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
type of deal.
Yeah.
Just so we can do that.
I did a quick drive-by of the two original buildings that are there. And the color scheme is very, very similar to what they're showing in these photos. I think it's a little different, but it's not vastly different.
But I think one determining factor in the color is what the stone is. Does the stone have a brown bias, a gray bias?
Yeah.
What,
Yeah.
what the stone's gonna,
Brown and gray, yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
The stone's gonna kind of decide the trim colors, I think.
Yeah, and the existing stone is quite warm. It's got
Yeah, it is.
it's got kind of an orangey bias to it, which kind of drives the selection, whether it's a gray tan or a warmer tan. And then I should shut up about colors because other people are better at it.
So we will work with the colors and we'll make sure the stone with the colors and, everyone has a different sense on these things, but we'll try to do the best we can and then you can offer the opinions. And so we'll get stuff in and we'll try to have a sample sitting here also this week. So we'll get so if you want to have the samples and come in and look at it versus just on the sheet, that way you can touch and feel.
Yeah, that'd be
Okay,
much
great.
better.
Okay.
All right.
So we're tentatively planning the 18th,
I'm sorry?
the 18th.
Again, I won't know that until Friday,
Okay,
What time does the zoning board meet?
well, same
7
time.
o'clock.
I was just asking, could it be like a 6:30 meeting or Ellie say even after if they have something back to back that evening?
Tuesday is the court.
Tuesday would be the planning board.
See, that'd be wonderful if you go forward and say, hey,
Not the 18th though, Michelle.
Yeah, you're a
No,
week.
the 19th. Is
You
Tuesday.
can't move to the 19th.
Oh, it's the 19th, yeah.
Yeah, so if we were before.
Can we just wait till
Sure.
Friday and
Yeah.
then we'll make other arrangements if need be?
Yep.
okay, perfect, we appreciate it once again. Everyone can make it home and watch the end of a stellar SU Des Moines basketball game. We're into that.
We're hoping.
All right,
We're hoping, exactly. Hopefully they figure out a starting lineup, I was confused the past two scrimmages, who was the starters and who was the bench. So, we appreciate your time.
okay.
All right.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
So this is going,
Yeah.
this is going next to consider.
So did you work on that
Yes.
initial plan?
On lots,
Yeah,
Wasn't that long ago, but I
like front toward, down
Yeah,
towards
right, so
the,
it's-
it was in 5 or 6 years.
so, yes, where the street curves around and comes up by the old
Looks
VFW.
familiar somehow.
Just continuing down there. Yep.
okay.
Okay, I'll make a motion to conclude the meeting. I have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
At 7:45.